Okay, welcome back to another episode. I am your host, Ayala Nunez, and I am returning back to the mic over here as it has been such a very, very long time since I have posted, broadcasted. This one is just a little bit special. I am on the road as we speak. So much to backtrack into cover since I had last started podcasting from the very beginning of this year. And as you all know, I have been through a significant transition. Huge transition. I don't even know where to start. But for those of you who do not know what is going on as we speak, I am in the middle of traveling, transitioning from Cleveland to Phoenix. So from Friday, November 5th, just to timestamp everything that is happening now as we speak, I had literally left Cleveland. And for those of you who are quite shocked by this new broadcast of news, I would have to say you missed out if you haven't been tuning in from the past 6 months. So yes, I made the final move, the big leap or jump per se from Cleveland to Phoenix, or actually in making that decision to move from Cleveland to Phoenix, Arizona. So I actually left on November 5th. I don't want to keep this long. I just want to be straight to the point, okay? But I don't know if that's even a possibility, considering. But I left on November 5th, and I have passed through many states, including Illinois, which was my first stop in Effingham, Illinois, and it was effing cold. I wasn't expecting it to be below 50 degrees, but it was. Next stop was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Whoever developed the highway system coming out of Tulsa, what were you thinking of? I'm so used to exiting from the right, but they had exits from the left to the right, and it was very confusing. So there's a potential for accidents to happen. But anyway, and in between, I gotta say, from Illinois to Oklahoma, I did go through St. Louis, Missouri, and I gotta tell you, from for those of you who have been tuning in from my Facebook post, I did make mention of how gorgeous the St. Louis skyline is. It's just absolutely gorgeous, especially when you do know that it does have a St. Louis arch, and just the skyline, the buildings, the skyscrapers, and then you see this arch. It's absolutely wonderful to see. And even just the significance of the meaning and the synchronicity of what the St. Louis Arch is all about. It's the gateway to the West. And so it was as if this gateway, if you want to call it a portal, we're not talking about anything else besides that, but just an iconic demonstration of the Midwest, essentially congratulating you as you transition from the Midwest itself to the far west, heading out to Arizona. So I found it quite iconic, to say the least. And then, right now as we speak, I am here in Santa Rosa, New Mexico. I really wanted to land over there to Santa Fe. I got my Santas mixed up here, but from what I've heard, Santa Fe is absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to have to visit Santa Fe one of these days. Unfortunately, I will not be doing that today, because I will be leaving early this morning. It is Sunday morning, the 7th, and it's about to get midnight, so it's going to be Monday morning on the 8th. So I am going to be, along with the dogs over here, with Louie, my Bull Terrier, and Chub Rock, my American Bulldog Johnson. We're going to be heading out to Sedona, Arizona, and along that way, heading off to Prescott. So, Sedona, I've been there. I was there 10 years ago on 11/11/11, November 11th, 2011, and this was the very beginning of my New Age journey. Okay, and I don't want to get into too deep into the story because it can get rather deep. But this was the beginning of my New Age journey, and from this, I had written a book called The Book of Positive Light, Remembrance of the Heart. And so, with that said, long story short, this took me into the world of the New Age, age-old and pagan theosophy of things. For those who do not know, this took me into the realms of the mystery schools as far as Egyptian teachings are concerned. When we're talking about the mystery schools, the Rosicrucian cross, which I was a Rosicrucian, and I, for the most part, had gotten thrown into the world of, I guess you would have to say, the witchcraft of things as far as New Age is concerned. And if you are to, for the most part, were to describe what this world was all about, well, on the surface you would not even know that it was any type of witchcraft concerning the pagan theosophy, the teachings of such of ancient Babylon. Okay. I'm gonna get some flack concerning this, some hate mail. Okay, but for those of you who have been reading my writings from my blog here with Real Revolution Radio TV, which is walkawayfromthenewage.com, please tune into that, because since April, Easter of this year in 2021, earlier this year, I've been writing rather prolifically concerning this change that I have been going through since then, up to this very point and beyond. And this is, for the most part, the main reasoning as to why I am transitioning, moving from Cleveland to Phoenix. And this is actually happening as we speak. Initially, when I first started out this year, also in April, after this huge revelation from God. And when I say this revelation from God, it's not any type of words that were particularly said. It was a transfer of knowing, a truth that was revealed. That is how God speaks. Okay, not in words or voice per se, but in a knowing and truth, because God is truth, and truth always exists, and thus is the reason for how and why God truly exists, because God is truth. And so this truth that was revealed to me was that everything that I was doing as far as the podcast, the network, which was truly New Age, was wrong. Okay. And later that week, upon this revelation, a question was asked through knowing and through truth. What are you going to do about it? And instantaneously, the response from me was, I have to let my baby go, which was essentially Real Revolution Radio XO, which was the older brand of this particular brand in itself. I had to let my New Age podcasters go. Now, it's not so much the broadcasters or the people behind the mic for which I produce their shows, it is not them at all. It is the practice, it is the lie, the deception of the demon of Satan themselves, which have manipulated the psyche, the consciousness, the mindset, the souls of humanity since the very beginning of existence, since the Garden of Eden. And so earlier this year, I just for shits and giggles, I bought a piece of property in northern Arizona. And just depending on where you look at, Arizona property in the raw is rather cheap. Not in quality, but like cheap in price. So for me, it was essentially something that was very important at that time to purchase property, because this particular property in question was on top of a mountain, and it was close to the skies, and it was in the raw, and it is not too far away from the Grand Canyon. And personally, I called this particular property the Honeycomb Hideout. And so my intention is to create a tiny house, and just to have something iconic, your own property of 2 acres and a tiny home, and what better place to have it than in Arizona, in the raw. And so again, just for shits and giggles, I just wanted to have that piece of property with no intention of leaving Cleveland and moving to Arizona. But I do want to make mention of the story which ties everything together. And again, I don't want to make this too long. We're already 12 minutes into this recording. I do want to make it short, but 10 years ago exactly. Okay, this is right before my trip out to Arizona on November 11th for a conference out there. This was a week before my flight out to Phoenix. I was in a Reiki conference. Again, this is back when I was a New Ager, at the very, very beginning, at a Reiki conference. And I was there with a bunch of nurse friends and friends of other nurses, of whom I have worked with in the past. And we were sitting there. There were 3 conversations going on this long table amongst friends. And to my left, straight out the blue, this woman comes out and just yells out, to the very point where all of these 3 conversations had to literally stop right in its tracks as we look to our left. And this woman goes, "Joel, oh my gosh, you're here. What are you doing here, Joel?" And she said my last name, Joel Ayapana. Okay. "What are you doing here? Nurse, Phoenix, Arizona, bald head, Filipino." I don't know why she even had to say all that, but she did. And I'm glad she did, because what are the odds of that happening? And I looked to my left, and for the best of me, I could not recognize her face, let alone her persona, let alone our connection in Phoenix, Arizona. And so this took me by surprise. My friend who I worked with in the psyche, and for those who do not know, I'm a psychiatry nurse, and she worked with me in psychiatry in Cleveland. She, matter of fact, moved out there to Prescott, Arizona, and then currently now she's in Texas. But occasionally, once in a while, we'll get back with each other and we'll talk about that particular time 10 years ago in 2011. And so we look to the left, and everybody's looking at me too as well, and just to wait for my response. And I go, I'm sorry, I just don't know you. And immediately from that, just her response, her facial response, was one of disappointment. Like, you don't know me, And I would absolutely feel the same way too if I came out that way, thinking that someone would respond back with a hug or like "Oh my gosh, like I can't believe you're here too." That did not happen, And so she found it rather, she was very offended with the fact that I just did not recognize her. And so this essentially asks two questions, or two questions are raised from this interaction. Who is, well, really three, like, who is this woman? And is she talking about the same person, me, being in Phoenix, Arizona? So, who is this person in Phoenix? This Joel Ayapana? Well, for those who do not know, that is my real name. Ayala Nunez is, Ayala is my middle name. Nunez is something that pertains to just the newness of who I am as I'm transitioning back to the Lord in Jesus Christ. And so it's a new beginning. Ayala Nunez, or Nunez. So it's symbolic in nature. Okay. But with that being said, who is this Joel that she apparently knows in Phoenix? Is this a separate entity, a doppelganger per se of me? And for those who know the thing about doppelgangers, if you were to meet your own doppelganger, it wouldn't be necessarily a very good thing, because from what I understand, you meet that doppelganger of yourself. It's like both of y'all like cancel out. I don't know if that's true or not, but maybe if you can send me an email at truthondemand@realrevolutionradio.com, maybe you can share some of your thoughts about that. And then another question was raised too, as if, is this potentially a woman who has been interacting with a future self of me 10 years later in Phoenix, Arizona? Now, earlier this year, again, I bought that piece of property in Arizona, northern Arizona, with no intention of leaving Cleveland and moving to Phoenix. It was just absolutely out of the question. I just bought a house in Avon, and I was there for only a few months. And then, shortly after April of this year, after returning back to Christ, after being revealed this revelation of truth, I made the decision to move to Arizona. Now, in the very beginning of this process of even looking for jobs at other hospital systems in Arizona, I was looking more or less towards northern Arizona and Prescott, Flagstaff, around that general region. And I could not get a job, right? And then one of my friends made mention that, well, how about Phoenix? Kind of change your focus from northern Arizona to southern Arizona to Phoenix. From what I heard, better salaries are offered in Phoenix. So when I looked at Phoenix positions. I pointed at one particular job, applied for it, interviewed for it, and then I got it. And then an offer was presented to me. I accepted. Now, from amidst all of this, what that was happening, that memory from 10 years ago, in 2011, did not come about until I accepted that job offer. And so I wrote about it in my blog. If you want to read about it, it's at walkawayfromthenewage.com. It's a brief examination and review of what had happened 10 years ago in 2011. And so here I am on my way to Phoenix, Arizona. I'm in New Mexico, the land of enchantment, as the sign says when I entered New Mexico. And tomorrow morning I'm going to be crossing the border, heading into Arizona as I drive towards Sedona, and on my way to Phoenix. And you got it right, on my way to Phoenix. And so with that said, there you go. I'm moving to Phoenix, Arizona. So that tells you something that is happening rather profoundly here. That is that woman that I met 10 years ago. Um, was it a sense of foreshadowing within this book that I would like to call this rather profound life in itself, the life of Joel, the book of Joel? Was she talking about a future tense Joel when it was the present me back then, 10 years ago? Or is this another particular essence of what Joel is that is happening simultaneously as we speak? Simultaneously as we speak, as two timelines converge into one. I don't know. And there was a big question to my parents' mind as to why I was leaving Arizona, or leaving Cleveland to move to Arizona. And from these last 2 weeks that I had spent rather personally and contently with my parents before I made that final dip into moving to Arizona, we spent a great deal of time together, and with that I shared many of my stories, the reasoning, the logic, the inspiration as to why I am moving to Arizona. And it's funny to say that both of my parents simultaneously support me 100,000%, backing me to this great big move. And I gotta tell you, when you have people who you absolutely respect, admire, and love, and when they support you 100,000%, you can absolutely do anything in life, anything, under the direction of God, Christ, and the Holy Spirit. And from amidst telling my stories, all of these coincidences, synchronicities, the logic, reasoning, and inspiration behind this big move, my dad goes to me and tells me, "You're the bridge. You're the bridge." Meaning the bridge to bringing back people back to Christ. More or less so, the New Age community walking the bridge back to Christ. Okay? So on my way to Sedona, Arizona, I'm just going to be thinking back to how all of this has happened. There are many, many moving parts to make this manifest into existence. This whole thing, the move from Cleveland to Phoenix, and how it has all come to be, to manifest, and how all of these moving parts have just clicked together simultaneously into place is nothing but miraculous. Now, the choices that I've made along the way, it's as if God said, "Wow, their choices, are they good ones? Not necessarily, but guess what, Joel? I have something better." There are many instances where I have made these choices on my own, and because things have not gone the way I've wanted to from those particular choices that I've made, I also have to make a decision too as well. And that decision was, are you going to have faith in the Lord or not? And all of those instances, it was absolutely a test of faith indeed. For each time I was faced with that dilemma, it was a conversation that was being held within my own soul. And each time was this: I have faith in the Lord. I trust you, God. I trust you, Lord Jesus, with all of what I am. Whatever you have planned for me, it is something better. And just because of that trust and faith in God Almighty, the one true God, I mean, even though each circumstance was bleak and nothing could actually come out of it, in the light of things, after the dust has settled, because of that trust and faith, something better each time that a dilemma had occurred, something absolutely better had happened. And I am a true testimony as to that, entirely and ultimately, as the story speaks for itself. It is just amazing how the Lord works with you, as the Lord is our Father, and as our parents do the same to provide for us to any regard, God does the same for us holistically. In the long run, at the end of the day, the Lord pulls through. He shows out 20-fold, 30-fold, a 100-fold, more than you could ever imagine. And so I just want to take this testimony and provide it for you, so that you too can simultaneously parallel this story along with your own lives, to your own miracles that God is performing for you actively now as we speak. So I just want to take this testimony as a gift for you, so that you can open your eyes, so that the Lord can speak through you, through knowing, through truth, so that you can be able to have the eyes to see and the ears to truly know. And so, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my testimony. If you have any questions about my blog, my podcast, or the network here at Real Revolution Radio TV, please email me your thoughts, any questions or concerns at truthondemand@realrevolutionradio.com. And that is truthondemand@realrevolutionradio.com. If you want to give me a quick buzz, you can call me at 216-618-3252. I try to answer all of my calls. That's 216-618-3252. If you want to tune into our network here, our rebranded network at the R3TV News Broadcasting Network, please by all means visit our website at r3television.com. And if you would like to tune into my thoughts and to what is actually happening now as we speak actively within my mind, by all means tune in to our blog for the network here at Real Revolution Radio TV at www.walkawayfromthenewage.com. That's www.walkaway. Visit our official YouTube channel, which is also a new rebrand, and I believe it's at realrevolutionradiotv.com. I could be wrong. I'm gonna have to. I forgot which domain name I attached to that, but please like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell so you will not miss a beat. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, by all means, please help support our network and our new ministry here with R3TV. We do have some new and wonderful broadcasters coming up. And with that said, I will see you soon.